because I just went over this build. This is pre-dot buff. Okay, in this video, I will explain to you the build pre-dot buff, and it sucks. We need huge buffs, Andrew. We need huge fizz dot buffs. This build is trash. Penance Brand Ignite is so much better. You should play that build instead. Don't play fizz dot Elementalist. It is dog shit. It's either that or one of the best builds in the game that no one plays because no one understands the build and how it works. And every iteration of Penance Brand Ignite is actually all built wrong because they don't use golems. Okay, anyways, let's go over the detail and oh shoot, oops, why is there sniper mark here? Dude, I did it again. Okay. The first iteration of I think you can, again, witch start. You can do witch start whenever you want. You can do wands, you can do rolling magma. I have cold skills here because I want to go to a cold dot slinger on fizz dot, and I'll explain in a minute why. So you're gonna start cold stuff. Do whatever you want, right? It doesn't matter. I'm using Creeping Frost and Cold Snap here because I want to do cold stuff later. And then at 28, you're gonna swap to Slinger, right? And Wintertide Brand. Make sure when you first swap to Slinger, you pick up these 2 points here for mana reservation, so your mana feels better. And then you want to pick up these 2 points for mana regeneration per second, so that feels better, right? So when you do that, you're gonna sling Cold Snap, because this is like here. This is like when you're 28. This is what happens when you like swap, right? Actually, I think I should change this tree a little bit. It should be like this, right? I don't even think you take this early. Yeah, probably. Okay. Not a fan of Arcane Will. I am a fan of Arcane Will, Gucci, but in order for me to get the Arcane Will, I have to like go all the way, right? I think this is more important, right? Do you agree? Sorry, I need to change this again. It looks like this, right? I had it right the first time. I'm a fan of Arcane Will, Gucci, but it's just like so far away. So when you first swap, right, you need to get to this node for mana reservation and take your golems and then come down here for Prodigal Perfection, right? And then you move left, right? The reason we are not fizz dot right now, right? There is almost no scaling on the elemental tree for physical damage at all. There's barely any spell damage, right? This is like spell damage. This is the wand node. But if you look at a skill like Reap, right? A large portion of your damage at League Start is actually based on hits, right? So when you're taking all of these dot nodes, you actually really don't get that much damage. So, and you really don't get hit damage until you get Spiritual Aid, right? So that's why we're cold for a while, because there's so many more cold nodes at the start. But once you get the Spiritual Aid, you can kind of redo a lot of things. If you want to switch, you can switch whenever. But Cold Dot Slinger is kind of comfortable, so you can just play it for a while, right? And then you can like swap like whenever you want, basically. You're just gonna go in, you're gonna hit Frenzy, right? And then like all these cold spells are gonna come out, and then things are gonna die, whatever, right? So when you get to the Fizz dot swap, It's going to be Poet's Pen based. You can actually play Cold Out Slinger for a long time until red maps if you have to, right? But when you go into Fist Dot Swap, you can first you can buy an Honor Home early if you want, because you can put it in the Cold Out setup and it's like really really good, right? Because you get extra levels on your Vortex and your whatever. But Poet's Pen has been decently cheap, so I included it in the POB. You can also self-cast if you really, really want to, but you're gonna have to look at it like an old POB. Maybe I include the self-cast POB in the sheet too. But I think this item is gonna be really, really cheap. So I think for most people, it's gonna be like easy to get. Unless the build becomes like wildly popular, then I'll include like a self-cast POB. But as is, you wanna sling, what the hell was that? You want to sling Reap Brutality with Exsanguinative Transmissions, right? Exsanguinative Transmissions is like really good because it does low base hit damage, but unlike regular Exsanguinate, it chains 10 times, right? It has higher dot damage and it gives you an immediate chain without when you use it next to Reap. It makes your clear much better and it's like really, really good, right? So this is why I really don't want to play Fizz Dot Slinger until you get like this skill. And this skill makes the build really, really good, right? At the start. So you have so you want to set up your golems. You have a separate 4-link with a Vol Reap, right? And you have to make sure you have a Vol Reap here because this is going to be your single target. Right? And you put all of this on your 4-link. When you get a 5-link, then you remove Honor Home and you use a 5-link, right? And you add in whatever you want, efficacy or whatever. So, and then at this point, you're going to be Kinetic Blast. That means you're going to hit a wand skill. It's going to put Corrupting Fever on all your targets. And later, when you get to Hemos, sorry, I think I fucked up this. I fucked this up too. I'm just gonna do this. Give me 1 sec. Let me fix a few things here. Okay. Later when you get to Hemos, right? How it works is you're gonna Kinetic Blast, right? And the Kinetic Blast has a 100% hit chance because of the node that I didn't take. And it's going to bleed all of those guys, right? And then when they die to the dot, those monsters are going to explode. And it's going to apply Corrupting Fever to all the monsters around them. And then they're going to die. The difference between the endgame setup is that there is no secondary explosion that happens because of it. Right? And you only bleed monsters that bleed. Only monsters that bleed will explode. I'll give you an example of what the build looks like with Kinetic Blast. Where's my Elementalist? Where's my build? Build sicker, more sick than Jung. Okay, that's the build. That's a good name. If you're more sick than Jung, you're sick as fuck, man. If your build is more sick than Jung, you're sick as fuck because he's sick all the time. Okay. So with Kinetic Blast, you're basically just wanding, right? And obviously your attack speed is going to be much faster than what I have right now because I don't have attack speed set up. So you're just wanding and then you're just like killing everything, right? And that's kind of what the build looks like, right? Like really, really fast. You might not kill the monsters as fast, but basically this is the play style of the build, like almost immediately after you get Poet's Pen, right? So you're just going around and you're just like wanding everything to death, right? Obviously you shield charge and it's going to look a little bit more different than this, and you're not going to have like, you know, giga single target damage, and your explosions will not look the same, but you're still going to explode. But that's basically the wander playstyle almost immediately. Um, and um, and a reason why I think Fizdot is a really, really good at the start of the game is because the Wanderer playstyle, number one, you get attack speed here, right? Which is only for your attack skills, but you also get a minion attack speed here. And since you're going to Spiritual Aid, you get Redemption, right? And you get Spiritual Command, which gives you tons of attack speed, right? For a caster build, you get a ton of attack speed. And then if you don't if you're not bossing, right, and you're not running like frenzies here, right, you can get a pretty decent like shield charge right off the bat, right? Like 4.5, like it's a decent like shield charge like right off the bat. What? Oh, did I? It's literally right. Oh. Build are very, very important. You might want, obviously later. So when you hit like your 90s, you want to start crafting your clusters, right? Because your clusters on this build are very, very important. You might want to start with one, and it's not as like important at first, but as you level, you're gonna want more and more clusters, and you want to craft Primordial Bond with either Rotten Claws or what's the other one called? Because it's like a step-by-step process, right? It's Primordial and Renewal, right? And you want to start crafting your clusters because you want to start setting up your golems, right? And that's pretty much for like a Doriani's is it's there for you to get physical leech because it's really hard to get physical leech on this stuff while you're using a wander. But if you can't get this, it's like fine. It's not super, super big of a deal. You probably have to hit your life flask sometimes. So you're already a wander. You probably around have like 3 million damage. Like at this point, 4 million damage when you hit Vol Reap. Karn, Slayer does not need buffs. Karn. So that's what happens, right? Okay, so right now you might think this build, 4 million damage, kind of mediocre. Wrong. Okay. So GGG made a few things in the last 2 leagues, right? No one really uses this shit. I don't know why. It should be like, this should be the base archetype for Elementalist Dot, but no one really uses this, right? And you're gonna be like 4 million damage. It's not that big of a deal. And you're gonna go to the next POB, which is the Auto Bomber swap. And honestly, shit gets really, really big. And it's not that hard, okay? You're looking at this and you're like, oh, Rue must have tons of gear. It's really just a few pieces that enable this, right? Number one, Dark Monarch, right? You remember how I said you were crafting your golem jewels, your clusters ever since you've been like 95? There's a reason for that, right? This node says 10% increased damage per summon golem, right? And when you're 95, this node is kind of whatever, because if you look at Carrion Golem of Hordes, you have 7 golems. A node that gives you 70% increased damage, that's okay, right? That's okay. But when you get to this helmet, which is Dark Monarch, it doubles the number of your summon golems. And then you put on Primordial Chain, which is a junk item that no one wants. Anima Stone, because now you have a primordial item and 2 eminence. You get an extra golem here. And then they made congregation support lastly, which gives you 38% more maximum minions. And since you link it to one golem, all the golems get this benefit. So you go from 7 golems to 27 golems. And now every primordial bond node gives you... Wait, what would I do? Dun 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 dun! 24% more damage. You get, so as soon as you get your helmet and you set up, you can see that your Corrupting Fever goes from 577 increase to 1,273 increase. You get huge amounts of damage, right? Almost immediately. And then once you get this damage, you can not play the Slinger anymore, and you make a rare wand, and you can start auto bombing with your explode sources. Even if you don't have your explode sources, you can still play the KB setup with the new wand, because you will no longer need to be able to sling, exang, and reap to have enough damage to clear. You will still need to reap sometimes, so you don't even need to play the auto bomber setup and have all of this damage. Like, if you can't get your explode sources, you can't get Oriats, and you can't get a Foulborn Respite, it's still fine, right? You can still clear the screen, and you can still, because your Corrupting Fever at that point is already 4 million DPS, and 4 million dot for clearing is like already really, really good, right? Just equip Obliteration, your wand is ass. I mean, like, you have so much damage now on this build, like, you might, you might just do this, right? Like, who cares? Can you even, like, no, you can't get any, like, good mods on it. Or you can just, like, use a rare wand with, like, just search for, you know what? Do this. Just search for any wand with an explode implicit and just equip it. And then you don't have to worry about Orath, and you don't have to worry about, like, you can remove one of the explode sources. Just use a white wand with explode and it's fine. It's, like, fine. Like, even if you remove your wand, like, you still have, like, a bunch of damage, right? It doesn't really even matter. Okay, because, like, your scaling is so good on the build. And, like, you might think this is a lot of damage. It's not. Or a lot of gear. It's not. This is... That's your wand to get this damage. Right? It's a really, really good build. Like, I don't even have damage on my thing. I don't even really have, like, damage, like, anywhere except for my jewels. So once you get it set up, you become OP, and then obviously you're gonna build up to Megalomaniacs, right? And then once you get Megalomaniacs, you have a shit ton of, like, increased damage. And this is how the build works as an auto bomber. Okay, ready? First, you activate Bladefall of Trothus, right? And Bladefall of Trothus is going to hit a target, and it's going to apply Corrupting Fever. And then that target is going to die, and it's going to explode, right? Applying ignites to everything around it, and Corrupting Fever to everything around it. And those guys are going to explode, applying Corrupting Fever, ignite to everything around it, and those guys are going to explode, and they're going to apply Corrupting Fever, and so it basically creates an ever-ending cycle of just explodes and Corrupting Fever everywhere, and where everything is just constantly dead, and nothing's ever alive. And, like, your explodes are scaled by such high number of increased damage, right? Your explodes are scaled by so much, like, increased damage sources that you basically just melt everything in the game, right? It's just like you can kill like Varoons with explodes on this build, right? That's how powerful they are because you have so much increases in scalability on the build. So that's how the auto bomber setup like loops. How it really like applies damage is Bladefall of Trothus is the #1 thing, right, that you get. And it's so much better this league because it's widely available with mercs, so you don't have to go into heist anymore. Bladefall of Trothus does like, it's everything in this build. When you activate it, with life tap, it uses life, right? And when you use life, it restores your Corrupting Fever for you without you having to press any buttons. You see that your Corrupting Fever never drops? It's fully automated, and it just cycles it, right? It cycles it for you, right? And it also applies the Corrupting Fever along with Lost Unity. And next league, if Gore is good, you're gonna have 3 sources of auto bombing because the Gore is gonna shoot dots out. Herald like Unity is gonna apply AoE, and Bladefall of Trothus is also going to apply Corrupting Fever. So you have 3 different sources of physical dots that you can use to explode the whole entire screen. So this is how this build works, and I think it's a really, really good build now from top to bottom. It used to struggle with like damage. It doesn't have any sort of damage struggles anymore. Keep in mind that I played this build all last league. It can keep up with farm with like BV Charlatan builds on Pathfinder. So like, I don't know if you guys know like how broken that build is if you can keep up farm with those builds, but those builds are fast as fuck, right? And this build can keep up with them in like doing like a multitude of freaking strats in the game. So that's how it works. And keep in mind, right? Keep in mind, as you're doing your progression, it's like you can equip the stuff that you want to equip, right? You can equip Dark Monarch whenever you want, right? Right. You can equip Dark Monarch whenever you want. You can go to your Golem setup whenever you want. This is the upgrade path that's set out for you, but you don't have to get all of the items. You can first get Dark Monarch, put on your Golem stuff, right? And then get Lost Unity, and then craft a wand. Like you could do it in steps and still be able to play the one build with incremental upgrades. The only reason why I didn't want to, like, I don't want to like make like 7 COBs be like, hey guys, first you buy Dark Monarch, and then you put on your Golem neck, get resistance on this piece of gear. I didn't think like I really needed to do that. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with the build. I play it like all the time. I think the build is really, really good. I think it's like one of the most underrated builds in this whole entire game. Yeah, the Dorian Young's belt is just for life leech, but you don't really even need it. Yeah, I'm not gonna make a loadout per upgrade for people, right? This build really stresses my piece, it is what it is. What Atlas strat does this build excel in? Almost everything. And I'm not even kidding. It's one of the few builds that can farm Expedition well, like Giga Juice Expedition. It can farm Breach. It can farm cards faster than most builds in the game. It can farm like basically everything. It's like basically good at farming everything. It can even farm Ubers if you want when you have enough gear. Stop telling me shh. Guys, no matter what, like, I know all you guys don't want anyone to play this build because you want your cheap items right away. You want to get to your Meglos and you just want to, like, destroy the game. But, like, people are going to end up playing it, right? People are gonna end up playing it. I want to destroy my toilet, then go destroy your toilet. Like, I think Fizdot Elementalist is very, very strong. I think it's very, very strong. No one even like plays this build too. You don't need Meglos. That's the good thing about the build. Like, guys, anybody who played this build, when you get to this much damage on this build, is it comfortable as fuck already? Like, for like 90% of the content, you're already giga comfortable with this much damage. That's without Megalos. There's not a single Megalo on this build. There's not a single one, right? If you want to add a Megalo to this build, a single Megalo, it looks like this. To 20% more damage if you add a single Megalo to the build. So it's definitely good enough. It's definitely, oh shoot, I messed up. Guys, remember, like, your build has a life cost, so you make sure your life is like situated. Because I have like some life jewels, or you could just like take life nodes on your tree, but you need to have enough life to be able to cast your Corrupting Fever. You don't need Megalos on the build, right? You don't need Megalos on the build. You're plenty comfortable. Guys, like, you have a 3 mod 1 on this build. Like, are you really gonna play the build with a 3 mod 1 for a long time? Even without Megalos, and you just craft a new wand, right? A new wand is 26% more damage on the build. You go to you get dot cap with like 1 fucking craft. Like, I don't know what people are like worried about when you're built. Like, there's so much stuff that you can upgrade on this, right? One craft is cancer with fossil prices. Whatever. Can you play? This is hand casting. This is literally, I am literally hand casting Reap when I need to. I am hand casting. I'm hand casting Reap and Vol Reap when I need to. This is a hand caster. This should get more buffs. Like, if Andrew doesn't realize this build is a hand casting dot build, like, he needs to give both. He needs to give more buffs to this build because it's both. So that's my explanation of Fizdot Elementalist, and it's honestly just like, I don't know. I think it's top tier. Anybody who played this build last league will tell you it's top tier. Anybody who, or actually, anybody who's played this build will probably tell you not to play it so they could buy up all the items for it without you like getting anything. That's honestly the truth. You guys are so stupid, dude. You guys are so stupid. Zero damnation drop. I dropped 2 damnations last league. What are you talking about? I literally dropped 2 damnations last league. Okay. Anyways, that is Fizdot. If you have any questions regarding the build, let me know. I tried to explain it the best I could. It can AFK simulacrums. My build can like